Hey y'all, welcome back to Key is King. Today, if you watch my Roni video, it's still tired ass Monday. But here we are. We are getting this video done, and I'm a little more excited about this one than Roni because Salt Lake City just does not know. Doesn't know. Cricket. Salt Lake City's fucking good. I'll say it that way. It's fucking good. I don't know if they would ever not be able to deliver, was a variation of something that I was trying to say before. And we are season 5, episode like 10 or 11. Let's check, handy dandy notebook. 11, my number. We are at season 5, episode 11, and we are opening with Whitney and Heather. Bad weather. We are opening with bad weather. And they're planning a girls' camp day. You know, those Utah girls love a good Caucasian activity. So they are planning a girl camp day, and they're just going through the details about what that's going to be, what it's going to look like, inspired by Troop Beverly Hills, which if you are a real bitch, you know that Troop Beverly Hills is that shit. I'm not even going to say anymore. If you don't know what I'm talking about, first of all, second of all, go look it up. Do yourself a favor. But they are inspiring from that, and they're just getting into the details about all the girls and all the drama that's been happening lately. So Whitney is talking about Meredith, and she's like, I don't know, she's just so miserable that she just can't do X, Y, and Z. And Heather literally is like, I am not falling into that bear trap. Which Whitney's messy fucking ass knew damn well that Heather is riding on Team OG with Meredith and Lisa. So the fact that Whitney even tried and set her up for that was so funny, and she was smiling when she did it because she knew. She knew what she was trying to set Heather up, and Heather's like, not taking the bait. Sorry. But Heather then goes on to talk about how she's still not sure about Bronwyn and how she's still trying to figure her out and blah 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 and yada yada yada. And as somebody so beautifully put it on the internet, Heather, it's been 5 seasons and we don't know about you still. We don't know about your ass. So while you're over trying to figure out Bronwyn, the rest of us are trying to figure out why you're still on the show and why you think you're that bitch. You're not. You know that, and we definitely know that. So who you're pretending for? Beyond me. We then move on to a scene of Mary and Meredith meeting up following the breakfast at Tiffany's, aka Mary's house. And already fucking annoyed from the start of this fucking scene. Meredith and her robot fucking walk come into this gallery. Everybody is going on and on about how good she looked and how her outfit was serving and how she looked so young in this scene. Which, okay, yeah, she looks nice, she looks cute, but none of that matters when you are being a dumb bitch, let me tell you. Let me tell you, none of it matters. Now, I know they say you gotta look good when you're gonna read a bitch, but Meredith, you are not that girl. I need you to resign if they don't fire you. I'm over you. Over you. So Meredith is going on with her fucking nasally talk about how she's been Mary's only supporter for the past 4 years, which in some ways, I guess I can see why she feels that way, because there was a time when people really were not fucking with Mary. She was at odds with a few of the ladies. But I say all that to say that Mary does not need Meredith. Maybe in the sense of filming, a scene. Maybe in the sense of, for the show. But truthfully speaking, Mary does not need Meredith. What is Meredith going to do when Mary is reading somebody? Or, having an altercation with them? Matter of fact, where the fuck was Meredith when racist-ass Jenny was coming at Mary every other day and throwing a fucking glass at her, which Heather encouraged her to do? I am going to need everybody, and if I don't do it myself in this video, I'm going to need you to do it even more. To go back to the season that Jenny was on, go back specifically to the scene when Jenny freaks out on Mary and throws her fucking drink glass at her, and who was in the corner doing this with a smile telling her to go do it? Heather Gay. Matter of fact, I'm going to find it and put it in here, because as tired as I am, she just really pissed me off again. But I digress. Meredith is claiming she's been Mary's only supporter for the past 4 years. Mary did not need you, and the way you supported her was very superficial and for a TV show rather than personal and in real life, from what I understand and from what I can see. So go fuck yourself when you're talking about you're the only person that's supporting Mary. Not trying to hear it. Mary, as was revealed very quickly into the scene, is about an hour late to meet Meredith because she's checking on her son, and she also lives like an hour away. Like, Meredith is in like Park City, I think Mary said in the after show, and Mary lives in Salt Lake City because that's the name of the fucking show, and she has enough money to do so. So Meredith is really mad that Mary's late, but Mary's like, in her confessional, is explaining how she feels like she's been like ignoring her son, and that the issues that he's having, which they clearly have been leading up to, and we will end our episode on episode 11 with that. But Mary was checking on her son, who did not answer his door during the scene, but I think that's why she was late. She was checking on him, she was talking about how she kind of feels bad and guilty for feeling that she's just kind of been ignoring him for the past handful of years. So that's the reason why Mary was late, or seeming to be the reason why Mary was late. Meredith, of course, can't handle it. She's so offended. And what does she do? What she always fucking does is call her kids. If you want a family show so fucking bad, Meredith, go get one. Find a network that thinks you're interesting and go get one. I'm tired of her calling her kids. Get a friend, maybe. Aren't these ladies supposed to be your friends? Why aren't you calling one of them? Why are you always calling your children? And then you're the one that's mad when somebody brings up your children. You act like you don't know any other people on planet Earth. Y'all, I know I'm tired and maybe slightly irritable. She gets on my fucking nerves with all this shit. She gets on my nerves. So she's talking to her kids about her drama with Mary. And I think her son literally asked her, like, why are you calling me? And she's like, well, I'm tired. Meredith will go on to do this a couple times during this episode, but she keeps talking about how she thinks Mary is struggling and the stuff that's happening and her being late and doing all this stuff is clearly an indicator to her having some major issues or going through something right now. And if that's what the fuck you think, why the fuck are you not checking up on your friend? Why the fuck are you not treating her with a little more grace and respect? If that's what you really think. Because what you're giving me now is entitled stupid lady who's not even listening to herself speak and is saying shit to be performative and not really care. Like, I cannot do it with Meredith Marks on this day. I really fucking can't. I really, really can't. Because make it make sense. Which side of your robot neck are you talking out of today? So Mary finally arrives, and it just goes left really quickly. Mary was there for maybe 2 minutes. She spent an hour to drive there to have a 2-minute argument and leave. But she comes in. They're both quite defensive, honestly. Meredith is defensive on the heels of waiting for an hour for Mary and the way she left her house. And Mary is going through just real life shit, which she's not sharing, with anybody. Which she doesn't have to, but it would provide some clarity, I think, for some people. But they're both defensive as shit. Meredith, I feel like, was trying. She was trying to acknowledge her part, Mary's part. I feel like she was doing okay with addressing, like, the facts. She was kind of sticking to the facts at first. Mary was very closed off in her energy, like I stated. But Meredith took it from stating kind of facts to being fucking dramatic. And the second that Mary got a sense of drama that was coming out of Meredith's mouth, she shut down. She was not having it. She was just like, nope, which caused Meredith to shut down, and they just kind of ended it. But I wish Meredith would really apply the words that were coming out of her mouth in the sense of Mary's clearly going through something. And if there's a bigger something happening with your friend, and you know that, and are aware of it, why you would not try to get to the bottom of it first before trying to fight, I don't know. Beyond me. And maybe I've been there and done that, but typically I want to figure out the facts before I just like get lost in my feeling or my emotions. But Meredith truly pissed me off. Although she, I feel like, was trying at first when Mary finally got there, their energies were not compatible. They did not end well. Meredith is claiming that Mary used her. And Mary's like, what are you talking about? Like, if I was your friend, why would I ever ask you to leave? Like, I've never seen you leave anybody else's house, for that matter. So it was just a real butting of the heads and a real miscommunication, which was unfortunate, but at the end of the day, Meredith, I don't like the way you're fucking moving. I don't like the way you're moving. And I don't want to allege that you have some prejudice or maybe feelings related to race involved in any of this, but I have to give the side eye in these types of situations. Like I said, allegedly. But girl, I was so happy we moved on from that scene because I was about to jump through the screen and choke Meredith. I swear. We move on to Angie and, damn, what's this woman's name? Lisa going to the aquarium. I was trying to say Electra, which is Angie's daughter, and Lisa has Henry, which is her son. And they're having a little double kid date at the aquarium. And Lisa seems like the fakest, fakest fucking person ever. Like, she and Henry get to the aquarium, she's like asking for him to like hold her hand, which I think he like reluctantly does. But he's like just fucking around, like doing some type of like dance. And she's just like, I love your little dance. Like, I feel like she just like very weirdly says the things that she thinks she's supposed to say sometimes. Like, just the way she interacts, it's like, did you meet your son before today? Do you know what to say to him? Like, do you know you're a mom? Do you know you're his mom? Like, why? She just seems fake as fuck. Like, I literally wrote it in my notebook with the biggest LMAO next to it. When I'm writing in my laughter, that's how you know. Lisa just seems fake as hell. I would hate to be related to her, let alone be like connected to her. And I'm usually like a stan, but she has proven slowly but surely, which I'll get into in a second, why I'm additionally feeling like this, but she seems fake as hell. I feel bad for her kid, honestly. She seems like one of those people that, like, if you were not related to her, you would not choose her. So Angie gets there with her daughter, and she has like a pet, not a pet, like a stuffed animal snake that she gives to the son, which might have been shade a little bit. I think Lisa was trying to use it as shade, which Electra caught and was about to give her a Demi Lovato, I'm about to beat this bitch up. She was looking at her like, shade my mom again, I dare you. She's a stepper and she gave birth to a stepper, how about that? But they're at the aquarium, they're doing their thing, they get a snake demonstration. Lisa's the only one that's freaked out, of course. The kids go off to do whatever the kids do at the aquarium, and Lisa and Angie start to talk. And Lisa is just going on and on. Oh my god, she seems fucking miserable. It's amazing how sometimes I can like love some of these women and they actually seem awful. It's fuck. But I've said it before, like for the purpose of Housewives, a lot of these women would be completely unbearable in normal situations, but for Housewives, some of them are just fucking perfect, despite all of that stuff. Lisa usually tickles that piece of my brain. Right now, she's really irking my nerve. She ain't tickling shit. But they do both start the conversation off with that they both feel like a sense of loss not having their friendship anymore. They both feel like something's kind of missing. It's something that they would have loved to have or still kind of get back in touch with. So they're able to address that. Lisa goes on to say that she does not feel heard, which is impossible because all she does is fucking talk. She definitely doesn't hear other people, so how she can manage to not feel heard. Like when Lisa talks, I feel like she's essentially saying like, you're not doing my things my way, so like I don't feel heard. That's like what I get. Because she's going on about that. And Angie's like, well, I haven't felt great either. And so Lisa's like asking her like, well, tell me like what I can do to fix it or what I can do. You could try to say sorry for once in your fucking life maybe. Because what's happening truly is that Lisa is explaining what she needs. Angie is apologizing. Lisa, I don't think apologized one good time in all of this. Like not even something similar or parallel to I'm sorry. I think genuinely left her mouth. It kind of ended with Angie like groveling and like saying that she is sorry and that like she essentially like the way she can edit herself, like she did, like I said, she did stand up for herself in the sense of saying like how she felt and what she felt like, but Lisa was really the main character of that conversation, and it just didn't feel genuine on her side, I must say. And Angie kind of once again tucked her tail and just took what Lisa was able and willing to give her in that moment. And that's not fucking real. Like, that's not cool. But that is how the game goes, and I'm convinced that Lisa does not give any more than that. Angie did detail that when Lisa's kind of going off or is kind of heightened, that Angie will kind of be timid and that her response is kind of, she tries to oppose Lisa's energy, I guess, sometimes, although she was the same one bucking a chair and screaming and yelling. But once again, I think Angie, what she's saying and displaying, even though she didn't say this like directly and explicitly, is that in order for them to move on, she has to lower, lessen, and shrivel herself a little bit for Lisa to be okay in the situation and be okay with the circumstances. So that's not real, and that's not productive. And Angie really did kind of concede to me. Like, that's how I felt. And she ended it with the Greek word for sorry, which happens to be something that sounds like fish. And so even when she said that, Lisa's like, oh my God, as if she can't be proud of her heritage or have a Greek word of the month or the day. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, bitch, you're fake. I would not be talking to you at all if I were Angie, but she got to do what she got to do for a little paycheck. That was that scene. So the camp day has finally arrived, and everyone is just oozing with excitement for the latest drama in the tea and how it's going to kind of send a ripple effect throughout the group. Mary and Meredith's beef is fresh off the grill and fresh on everyone's mouths. Angie and Mary are coming in hot, talking about the latest gossip and tea, shading Meredith because she sure did not forget to take her her parting gift that Mary got her personalized gift, as she was storming out of her house all upset with her octopus bangs. Angie was like, I thought she was going to take like your statues too. And Mary's like, where's she going to put them? The Airbnb? Because we know Meredith has many rentals and she moves a lot. Because that's what she planned and likes to do, allegedly. But Bronwyn is coming in messy and hot with the OGs, which are Lisa and Meredith in this situation. But she's in the car with them and seeming to be, I guess, Team Lisa now all of a sudden, because she was confused that Whitney and Heather were hosting this event together, that she got an invite from Heather. Meredith was so surprised she got an invite from Whitney after she tried to like punch her in the face over her phone. But Bronwyn is making some choices. She's saying some things. And I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck she's doing, for real, for real. Because she pissed me off this episode, and she's been doing okay so far. She's been doing more than okay so far, I'll give her that. But all of a sudden, because she doesn't understand an invitation, she's in the car being weird. Alright, Bronwyn. I don't know if this is your first strike, but if not, consider this strike 1.5. Don't do it. So of course we have Brittany here because Heather was in charge of this event partially, and Brittany's talking about her men and her delusion. That woman's not well. She's been all over the internet just doing things that are not well mentally. She seems like she's just full of it. Capital I, capital T. It. So she's talking about her men, how she's dating 10 men. Although she was mad for Angie for saying that she was like banging 3 guys. Okay. She don't know what she wants to be. She just wants to be involved. Oh, Melee. That reminds me. Melee, aka Melee, is here. And literally irrelevant. Does not matter. But I thought she might have like passed since the last time she was on the show. And people have said that she got like cut out of the show for her like political views maybe. Or like her Trumpy shit. But they really said, fuck this girl. But she was there. And it's so funny because she's talking like she's been there, but baby, you were edited out. Your comments mean nothing to us for real. So it's just funny to see her energy because she has like I've been here energy, which I'm sure she has been, but not anymore. Not anymore. But Brittany is going on. I barely even took notes about what she was talking about because I do not care. If you like Brittany, this is not the review channel for you, sorry. They go on to just talk about a few other things, though, and this is where shit starts to get very, very spicy on this little camp day for the girls. Sorry, before we get into the spice, I guess I'll address the fact that Heather's fucking weird. She's talking about, for somebody who cannot talk about sex ever or has so many hang-ups about so many fucking things, she's talking about soaking, I think they call it, because Mormons can't have sex before marriage. So Heather's claiming that the girl lays down, the boy puts his penis into her vagina in the style of a hot dog into a bun. And like, I guess lets it sit there. because when the powers that be in the Mormon community asked them if there was penetration, thrusting, or anything else, they can technically say no. And this is why I do not like Heather, because everything you share is a weird cult-like fact. I just can't do it with her. This is the same woman that got her vagina exploited by Whitney talking about in her book is now talking about soaking and claiming that she like used to participate in this. Joke or not, I don't fucking like you, lady. And this is why. Just a weird, lying hypocrite. I can't do her. Her and Meredith need to like sail on the Jewish Mormon boat down the motherfucking river. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of them. We move on from Heather and her weird sex practices, and then Mary and Meredith re-engage in the spillover from their fight. Now I will say Mary is spicy today in this scene. She's clearly has real shit going on, and I think she even said at one point, like, these women do not matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, her son is really struggling. She's trying to like save him essentially. So her and Meredith are re-engaging. They're having a verbal sparring. They're really going back and forth, not getting anywhere, because at this point they're both closed off to the idea of each other and kind of resolving anything. But it's just a rehash of the stuff. Mary is really trying to get Meredith to be like, do you really think that like I'm treating you or would do something like that to you? Like, what is your issue? And so she clears up that she was talking to both Angie and Meredith when she said, if you don't want to listen, you can get out. Because they were just black out, crash out, screaming at each other. And so Mary really tried to emphasize and go through what was happening again, and Meredith does just not want to hear it. Like I said, she's fucking washed anyway. So, fuck her. But Mary's literally just like, okay, cool. Bronwyn then takes it upon herself that she's going to throw Whitney and Angie under the bus for Lisa, and that they were talking shit about Lisa and telling Heather about all the things that Whitney said about her when they went on their walk, when she was oddly defending Lisa. And so Whitney's like, bitch, what? Like, we are both young women who married men way older than us and are like spirited. She's like, what are you doing? Like, and she's like, if you think you're going to throw me under the bus, we are going to back this bus up and run over your body. That's literally what Whitney said in her confessional. So Bronwyn and her, told you she makes those fucking ugly ass faces. Her and her face are like sitting there like, what? What? If you start, like I said, pissing me off. AWF, off. She's pissing me off. So Whitney's like, I didn't say that. Angie's like, I didn't say the things that you're saying either. And so Angie, big stepper, the big Greek stepper, starts letting Bronwyn have it. I think she told her to go fuck herself or fuck you or shut the fuck up. She dropped some F-bombs towards Bronwyn, which apparently Bronwyn did not appreciate. And if Angie says that again, she'll never see her again. At this rate, don't make me say good. But Bronwyn's like going on and going off about how they were talking about Lisa and Heather and da-da-da-da. And nobody's fucking having it. Like Whitney and Angie, that is. They're not having it. They're like absolutely fucking not. And don't blame them. Because have you not been spending your whole time fighting with these women? Aren't you Lisa's friend? And wasn't the first thing you did fight with Lisa? So please. Fucking please. And Big Stepper Angie was like, maybe you need to borrow Meredith's hearing aids, but I didn't say that shit. And I don't think Whitney said that shit either. And so of course Meredith is, oh, you don't talk about someone's disability. AARP. Like, she is so fucking, So Meredith is now dramatic and sad that somebody talked about her disability. Don't give a fuck. As she's joking about turning her hearing aids off so she doesn't have to hear anybody. So you stop making fun of it then. How about that? We'll follow your lead. When you're ready to stop, we'll stop. That's what somebody should have fucking said to her. So as all this verbal sparring is happening with Bronwyn and Lisa and Bronwyn and Whitney and whatever and Angie, this leads to another Whitney versus Lisa spat, and they're arguing about don't lie about me, because that's their favorite thing to say to each other this season. But their verbal sparring then leads to Mary versus Lisa, which rumor has it this is the start of a very serious feud. But this is when Mary's like, look, she said it in her confessional, I have real shit going on. I don't give a fuck about a Lisa or the Lisas of the world. Absolutely not. But Mary called her out for being the fakest person ever. and a liar, which, did I not just say maybe 10 minutes ago that Lisa is fake as fuck, or seems like one of the fakest people ever? So Mary's like, bitch, you're fake. So Mary's like, Lisa, you are fake. Everything about you is fake. And Lisa, of course, cannot handle that because she can't handle anything that's not coming from her mouth. Excuse me. So they just are agreeing to disagree, essentially, but they get into the whole, which they're now saying Fendi. I could have sworn on everything I love that these women were saying Fenty when they were talking about the jumpsuits that they both wore to the Tiffany party. But they start arguing about that, and how Mary's claiming that Lisa is a copycat, and how she has no style or depth and all this other stuff. And Lisa's going on about how she was there with Kim K and Sarah Jessica Parker. Which they were showing pictures on the internet of this fashion show, and dragging the fact that Lisa is nowhere to be found in said picture of these women that she mentioned. Now, mind you, she could have gotten there late. She could have been in the bathroom. There are very real reasons to why she was not in that picture. But I just find it hilarious that the internet is like, Lisa, where are you? I don't see you in the picture that you claim you were there for. But she did post pictures of the runway, so she had to have come at some point. I just found that funny. It made me giggle. But Mary and Lisa are having a real fucking fight. And Mary was not wrong in her stance, if you ask me. And you know, I have a thing for Baby Gorgeous, but not when it comes to Mary. Mary is going to serve up all of these women every time without a doubt. No questions asked. But yeah, Mary's on edge, and that's very clear in the way she's fighting, her behavior, and the fact that none of these women are even attempting to really get to the bottom of that bothers me. It really does, because it speaks volumes of what the underlying issues really may be here. And that's sad. It really is sad. But they are cutting and moving on, and Angie is still crashing out on Bronwyn and Meredith. Just crashing out, and I love Angie for that. Angie is a bit of a crash out queen, and with good reason. She's tick tick boom, and she is booming all over Bronwyn and Meredith, and that's when Bronwyn's making her stupid faces talking about, Angie, if you keep talking to me like this, you will never see me again or speak to me again. Bye. Bye. Stop being stupid and messy. Then you wouldn't have to get the crash out. You wouldn't have to get the stepper out of Angie. So think about yourself. Listen to your man. So the next day after the lovely girls camping trip, they have Shabbat dinner at Meredith's house, which, okay. We know Meredith is having a bar mitzvah at like 55, and she is preparing and doing all the traditional things she can think of to do, although I think they definitely have had Shabbat dinner before on the show. Anyway, she's inviting her smaller group of friends, which is Bronwyn, who all of a sudden is in the circle, Heather, Lisa, and Brittany. A.K.A. the losing team. She invited the losing team over for a scene. Need I say more? Not really, but I will because that's what I signed up to do on this review channel. So they're coming over, everyone's arriving for Shabbat. Heather's proving once again that she's fucking weird because not only is she continuing to talk about this weird sex practice that they have, she decided look, I can't even get it out because I'm so annoyed. She has decided that she's going to talk about it with Meredith's children. The children that Meredith calls every chance she gets. The children that Meredith is always claiming that people are bringing into the show for a storyline. The children that Meredith cannot seem to stop fucking talking about. The same children. This is who Heather is like pretty much sexually harassing with her fucking hot dog bun Mormon dick stories. You can't talk to your grown women friends about sex, but you can talk about sex with somebody's children? You're a weird ass bitch. I don't care how much I'm not trying to say that word. I can't do it with her. I can't do it with her. And then they have the nerve to talk about, like, in addition to the hot dog thing, allegedly they would have a third person jumping on the bed to create motion, but that part is a myth, and she has not experienced it, but she's done the hot dogging, soaking thing. Girl, I hope somebody else gives you a black eye. That's not your Botox. Because let's talk about that if we haven't already. She keeps saying that Jen Shah gave her a black eye. Her shoddy-ass Botox gave her a black eye, and she would rather die and lie than say that her business gave her a black eye. That Botox that you were injecting, probably from somebody's basement where you found it, is what gave you that black eye and not Jen Shah. It's mighty convenient that that's your lie that you came up with, so She can fuck off. All the way off. She can fuck off. Lisa decides it's a good time to share her fucked up story about her husband, in that she did a DNA test on him, located his birth family, and it went to shit. Like, if you watch the after show, which of course I do, she went on to explain, mind you, she's crying as if something fucking happened to her bitch ass. She said that she got a DNA kit. Her husband thought she was doing one of those things where, like, I found out I'm 95% Norwegian and 5% like caveman. Like, he thought he was just getting the percentages. She tracked down his birth mother. His brother, his birth mother denied the fact that she even had him at first because there was so much fucking trauma involved. So Lisa's going on telling the story at Shabbat dinner about how she did this, how she found his family, reunited them, and that it did not go good. And that John, which is her husband, was like really upset. And he even said, like, we didn't do anything, she did this. Like, don't let her say that we did. But in the after show, I just have to tell the story because I was mind blown. She went on to say that she like organized all of this shit to happen, right? That the brother, because she was in contact with the brother shows up with the mother. They show up with his biological dad, who was not even involved like in the mom or his siblings' life. She did not even go to said dinner. So she stirred all this shit up, brought all this shit up, did not even go to said dinner, let her husband go by himself, and then proceeded to get called like a bastard and pretty much laughed at by his like biological dad, and was traumatized, and they had real issues in their marriage as a result of this. That is a next level of narcissism, stupidity, and selfishness that I cannot get behind. Like, I know I've gone on about Lisa and how I love her, and for the show sometimes I really do. That on some real life shit, you get the mark of the devil with Heather, because no, absolutely not. Would hate to know you for real. Would hate to know you for real. And your husband is a punk and a pussy for staying married to you. Absolutely not. Absolutely the fuck not. And the fact that she decided to share this watered down version of the story at all, let alone on TV at a Shabbat dinner, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I'm sorry. Go fuck yourself. But thank God they moved on to something else, because I could not have dealt with that story anymore, especially now that I know the details of that story. My God, today. My God, today. But they move on to Bronwyn and Todd, which this is not much better, but a little better. I'm pretty sure he said an NSA background check on Bronwyn when she met him. Mind you, if some bitch that was 28 years younger than me and I'm rich as shit all of a sudden wants to like marry me and date me, you better believe I'm calling the FBI, the CIA, NSA, fucking NASA. We are going to find out information about you, bitch. Because I'll be damned. So like, I guess that's the most normal thing that's been said at this dinner so far. But of course Heather had to be like, I snorted Ozempic before this. Like, she has such an opinion on that. Bitch, put your teeth back in. Knock them back in a little bit. And then we can talk. My God. I'm real chipper today, if you haven't noticed. So they're recapping the camping day, the camping excursion, and they're talking about Mary once again. Meredith is on her fucking robot soapbox about something's wrong with Mary, something must be going on with Mary, like her behavior's so unusual and odd. And weird ass Brittany, I'll give it to her. I will give it to her. She's like, well, if something's going on, maybe we should give her grace. Maybe we should like really consider the fact that she is going through something. Like, hello, do you hear yourselves? Which, saying her name, weird ass Brittany, because that is her government name, as you all know, that come back to this channel. During this whole girl camp day, a part of her delusion and the shit she was going on about was Angie and the wine and bringing it there. She's still on that. But Angie's like, look bitch, you're drunk and you like wine, and it's not that big a deal in the Greek culture. I don't know why that just reminded me of that, but that happened too at some point in this episode. But on the heels of Brittany being the only one with some sense enough to be like, hey, let's give her some grace if we think something's going on with her, like maybe you should really follow that chain of thought, We then move on to Mary and Robert, and I'm going to try to talk about this without crying because I have bawled my eyes out every time I watch this scene. The build-up for this scene has been everything from the drop of the trailer. We knew it was coming, and clearly the producers of this show have been building up for this moment as well. So Mary goes into her son's room to talk to him about just what's been going on, because as you know, the main plot of her story this season is that she's trying to save her son from his crippling addiction and suicide feelings. And so she goes in and talks to him, and baby, when I tell you, this was the realest, rawest, truest moment that we probably have had on Houses. I'm trying to think, and I will not do it justice in this moment, trying to rack my brain with other moments that fit this category. But this one is at the top of the list, if not made itself number one. Because Mary's just like, what is going on? And Robert, I'll give it to him. He didn't hold back. He said, I've been doing Xanax for, mind you, this boy is 21, I believe. He's been doing this stuff since he was like 16 or 18. It was like 5 years when I did the math, so 16. Sorry, I still use my digits. We're not in the math leads, I'll tell you that much. But he's since 16 been doing Xanax, and really loved Xanax to the point that he started mixing it with everything under the sun. Acid, cocaine, marijuana. He said he got to the point where he was doing like 10 oxys at a time and wasn't feeling anything. So he just kind of detailed his drug use, that life is kind of like unseasoned chicken and drugs make it feel like it has some seasoning to it. He detailed the fact that he was suicidal at one point, that he felt like a stain in this earth, or on this earth, that he did not want to live, that he hadn't been happy, that he was just starting to get a little bit of his happiness back, which was, oh, it's so fucking heartbreaking. I could cry. I really could. But he also said that Mary was the only reason he did not kill himself when he wanted to before. My God. And Mary was just really, obviously broken up by this. She was saddened that it had been going on for so long, and she thought that he would stop at weed. Like, she never thought that he would experiment with other drugs to the point that he was addicted to them the way he was. So Mary was just going on to say that Robert is her best friend in her whole life, and that before he was born, she was never happy. Which is so fucking sad. It's just so sad. But what's not sad is the fact that they were able to have this conversation, that they were able to get to this spot before somebody did die, somebody being Robert. Although I would be worried about Mary if he died in her life. It was just, it was real. It was really real on so many levels, and it was so important that they had this conversation. And although it was hard to watch, and it makes me emotional just like thinking about it, I think it needed to be done for many reasons. Not only for them and their journey and their healing, which is the most important, to be quite frank, but for what it could do for other people who either have stories related to addiction and suicide and depression, and the impact, like the ripple effect of that goes beyond what anybody can ever think or imagine, quite frankly. So them having this conversation and ending this episode like this was so important. And the representation of it being Mary and Robert having this conversation also matters. I know Mary has gotten a lot of love and support around this topic from a lot of people, everyday civilians like you and I, and even a lot of Bravo celebrities, which I hate to bring an element of negativity to this, but somebody did mention that none of her castmates were a part of the crowd that offered her that love and support as a response to this scene, and that is fucking pathetic, and it's very telling of a group of women that have been alleged to be involved in religious practices and groups and ideals that are racist, prejudiced. It's a bad look, and it's really, really fucking distasteful. But truths are truths, and they will figure out a way to reveal themselves no matter what we do as people, so. And I say that to myself too. But Mary and Robert really gave, I think, everyone something that they needed to see. I appreciate and respect them for their vulnerability and their rawness, and it's a scene that I think will stick with not only me but a lot of people who watch it. And I will break down and cry right now, so I'm not going to do that. So we're going to take a breath. Genuinely wish Robert Jr. and Mary, for that matter, well as they work through this journey, especially in a national eye. But that is how we ended season 5, episode 11 of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Tough but necessary, which quite frankly is my style anyway. I love this franchise, even with the dumbasses that fill some of the spots. They're giving real entertainment, real reality, and what more do you want from a group of reality stars? But that was it. I've made it to the end of my videos for today. I am tired as finnock, and now I'm gonna go relax. So with that being said, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. As always, check on those that you love for me as an extra message today in this video, but I will see you soon for something else.